Hello and welcome to the We Are Birmingham podcast. I'm Chris Golding.
I'm Matthew Elliott.
And hopefully people can hear us. And the vegan's not with us any. No, he is with us still. He's not. He's not
He
died.
hasn't passed.
That's what a vegan diet will do for you. No, he's off protesting independent meat makers.
Independent Venue Week, Christopher. Let's be Christian. Sorry, is what he's off doing. He's going around doing reviewing gigs at local music venues or something along those lines.
Good on him. So I'm in charge of all the buttons, which means that this Warhammer players talking about football podcast is going to be even worse than ever because I'm in control.
Just with what I've never played Warhammer in my life, by the way. Just
oh mate. This, do you know what? This is everyone's favourite part of the podcast when we talk about what we've been up to for the last week. So let's what you've been up to for the last week.
Since we last spoke, which was when? Last Wednesday. Not
Thursday? Thursday, wasn't it? Was it Thursday? Oh, it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
No, it was
yeah.
Wednesday, you're right.
Very
late night on Sunday.
Very quiet week apart from Sunday night, obviously. So, not a lot really. I've been working from home most of the week, and that is it. It's nothing exciting has been going on. I'm dealing with a trapped nerve in my back again, which is really annoying because causing me issues down my left side. But that comes and goes. It has done for about 3 or 4 years, and it's back with a vengeance. I'm still mobile and I can still run and work out and stuff, but it is uncomfortable. And waking up in the morning, I definitely feel about 20 years older than I actually am.
Not 20 years old.
At least, at least. Trying to get in and out of bed and in and out of the shower and stuff like that is, I need a walk in one of those wet rooms, really, with a rail or something. I think potentially at the moment because I am.
You get a grant for it.
I might have to look into that. I might have to go back to physio again. I've been doing the exercises, but they are doing jack. So we'll see. What about you? What have you been doing?
Work. We've obviously got the charity thing going on at the moment, so that's rocketed up. So thank you to everyone who's donated for that. We're at over £1,000 now, so we're very happy with that. For those that didn't listen, we're doing my partner he's shaving her head for charity, and I'm going to shave the beard because she reached over £500. So that's the weekend of the 14th to 15th, the Leeds game, so I'll have a baldy chin for the Leeds game. But thank you to everyone who's donated for that, and there's still time if you want to. I'll share the link again on socials, I'm sure. So payday soon, isn't it? Some payday for some people today. So and the other thing was
it doesn't last very long.
it doesn't. It's in and out. The other thing was obviously on the weekend we was talking about a late night on Sunday night, and you've got the Seahawks t-shirt on. We're both followers of the Seahawks.
Literally most days I am wearing some form of Seahawks merchandise. As Dave the vegan tends to always point out, it's just I have a lot of it because it's just bucket loads of it, isn't there? So it's NFL stuff is pretty accessible. And I've just ordered a whole bunch of new stuff as well actually last couple of days. So.
Tends to not go out of date, their shirts and stuff either, does it?
The actual jerseys, the same ones for years. But they release like loads of just stuff throughout the year, and like I've got about 20 hoodies as you know. Yeah. So anyway, this is not a Seahawks podcast.
It's not a Seahawks
City podcast.
But we're going to mention it. We were up very late or early, regardless of how you look at it. Watching.
Did you go back to sleep or not?
I probably got about half an hour or 40 minutes or something by the time my brain had switched off. But going to the Super Bowl, not actually going to the Super Bowl, unless someone wants to fly us out there. It would be
I looked at it today and it was like $4,500 and then whatever the flights would be, and that's without any accommodation. So yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
So
And unless someone wants to pay for it, and
yeah,
we can do a live pod while we're out there as well, can't we? So
put that
yeah.
Kofi link back up.
It's in all the time. Right. Football then?
Yes.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
Stoke?
Let's start with Stoke. Yeah.
I think so. Performance wise, obviously saw Osman for the first time. Slipping over quite a lot, changed his boots at half time. He's
So
came out with some different boots on in the second
puppy
half.
chasing a tennis ball, was it? What it felt like at times in the first half a little bit. I mean, that first 35 minutes, I just was like, this can't go on like this, because it felt like Stoke were just completely dominating us, which, to be fair, that they were. We had a few breakaways.
Stephen and Zonzi, that everyone thought had retired about 10 years ago.
He's still like really useful. I thought they were really, really good on the ball. Thought they made us look pretty amateurish, really, and it was obviously a very little cutting edge in the final third, which we knew would be the case anyway. We grew into it in those sort of last 10 minutes. I think Osman was at the centre of a lot of stuff that we were trying to do, and his pace and directness and just forward thinking obviously has caused them problems. But there's quite numerous times that maybe made the wrong decision, or say fell over. But he was dangerous, wasn't he? I think he looked dangerous, and there were moments in that sort of last 10 minutes and then into that second half, the first 10 minutes there, where he looked quite dangerous as well. And then lo and behold, he was taken off. But obviously he hasn't played much football. He'd been injured. I think it was obviously pre-planned for him to come off. But I think once he came off in that second half, we seemed to just lose a bit of impetus for me.
Yeah, it was for me. It was a bit of an issue as well. Not an issue, but it's like you say. It obviously was planned, but you're taking off a quick player and you're taking off Doyle, and so that threat that's gone from carrying the ball forward and getting at them has gone. We took Doyle off, who is arguably our best set piece taker, and we brought on two big guys to put into the box. And it was just it was a frustration for me, I suppose, that was the subs. Not that I disagree with them, because I think you've got to. We've said before, you've got to manage your players. If Osman had played another 10 minutes and then gets injured, then you're moaning at him for overplaying him straight away. But I get it, but it's frustrating that the sort of life was zapped out of us a little bit.
It was, and just say you mentioned the Doyle set pieces. It was probably the only thing he was doing well in that game. And the corner routine was very good. They've tried that probably, I think, 3 or 4 times in the last few games, and it hasn't really come off. That was really well worked. It was nice to see. Nice to see us pull it off. If you want.
Should we? I don't know if this is going to work, but that's not going to work. Carry on.
No.
Carry on briefly. Yeah, let me try it again. No.
What are you trying to do?
I've got the Tom Brady soundbite of him saying we've scored from a corner, but it's not working.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Should have tested that before we started.
Very, very good routine. It's probably the only thing Doyle did well in that game. He seemed to really, 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 really struggle. And it's been the last couple of games. I don't know if he's tired or if that partnership just between the pair of them, him and Paik, when we're playing teams that have a little bit more possession. And they're saying he wasn't great against Sheffield Wednesday, was he? So,
no.
Yeah, I just his lack of mobility is becoming more and more obvious sometimes, and you're starting to. I think there's quite a few Wolves fans and Sheffield United fans that said he would be more effective when he's played in a 3, and you're starting to see that becoming a little bit more obvious now. Because said he's had some great games. He's been really, really good and man of the match in a few games for me easily.
Yeah.
But he's getting exposed quite a lot now. So is it because he's playing next to Paik? Is it because he's we need another body in there. I don't know, but I mean, ultimately, I think he probably needs to come out of the team for a few games potentially, or we
On
have to change his system, which I don't think is going to happen. So
on that point though, I think I said it last week on the pod, that I would have started Jahan Solis, as he was nicknamed around by us. um, I think I would have. I said last week I would have started him just for the presence. I was very impressed with him at Sheffield Wednesday when he came on with that little cameo, and I actually thought that we were missing someone like him. So when he came on, granted we lost some of the output that we
yeah,
had
it's a
further
really
up the pitch.
that the balance of that is really bizarre because he came on and he played really well, but he was putting himself about, he was winning the ball, he was distributing it to a teammate, but we weren't really doing anything with the ball. So it was kind of like it all felt it was all sort of in vain. But it was good. But I think we obviously, there's a lot of variables to take into account there. But yeah, it was bizarre. Yes, he played well, but it was at the detriment of our attacking play. I don't know. It was a bit of a confusing one.
Would you going forward now? So the game at the weekend, we're obviously going to look at in a bit. Would you change your mind on him starting? Because obviously we'll come on to it
For an away
later.
game,
But with respect, it's Oxford. But for me, I wouldn't care who we were playing. I think now you've got that player in there that you've got to maybe offer the security around, offer the security for the team, and then build around that with the creative players.
I think as long as Peck has license to get forward and not necessarily roam, but become more advanced, then absolutely, that's I think we've got to go with it based on the fact that Doyle hasn't been very good for the last couple of games, and Solis has come on and looked pretty good for a couple of games, and we know he's not going to drop Peck, but then I wouldn't anyway because I think he's still quite an important player for us, and I just you've got to be able to give him license to take the shackles off him, and I think Solis would probably allow him to do that.
Where do you go from there? We had plenty of shots in the game, 15 shots, 6 on target. There was obviously a few Jay Stansfield chants that you think maybe should have done better.
He's absolutely got to do better. I don't know how many games it is he hasn't scored now, but it's got to be at least 10. It's the sort of thing I should probably look up before we do stuff like this, but it's got to be 10, 11, 12 games potentially. He came on against Swansea came on. I thought he changed the game against them or helped change the game against them. He still is looking effective. He looks pretty dangerous. He looked pretty good when he played off the left for a bit on Saturday as well. He just needs a goal. I think he needs a goal, in my opinion. But I'm a little bit worried, maybe, about that. The fact he hasn't scored for a while.
But I think it's more with Jay. I think it's more about what he brings to the team, aside from the goal. Obviously, the goals are great, but he offers a lot more than just goals.
Oh, it's energy. Obviously, the way he presses as well. I think obviously he's pretty important, but he does need to score goals at some point. Start scoring goals at some point. I think he still leads us in terms of goal contributions, which is wild thinking about that.
Yeah. Talking about,
he hasn't scored for so many games. But
talking about goals, actually.
You fucking scored on a corner?
Oh, you found it now.
Did you hear it? Did it work?
Yes, heard it. But
Scored on a corner?
yeah. Where was that 7 minutes ago?
Oh, well, so whilst we were talking there, I was sort of sidetracked with trying to get that lined up and put in. So I haven't got the comments set up and ready, but there are a few comments. One of them, Cart244, Dux has had his moments of magic, but a lot of the time, especially off the ball, he's a passenger. And then Paul White has followed it up with, and cannot head a ball. that's probably a key point in the defensive part.
I made a note of this. Duck,
Living up to his name.
whether or not he actually ducked out of the way of the ball, I don't. I mean, it looked like that. If he tried to header it, then it was a really poor attempt. All he had to do is just get his head in the way of that. It was pathetic. I don't know.
He did duck it. He did duck it. I don't know why you're saying that. Didn't he?
Maybe
He
I've got
did.
too much faith in a professional footballer that just absolutely bottled heading the ball. Then
And like you say, if he doesn't move, if that does just hit him on the head, like
it's 1-0. It remains 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you've then got to defend it again because it could just go fucking anywhere. But you've stopped it. You flicked it on. it's gone, and the rest of the team can defend it. You don't have to be good at heading a ball to head a ball.
They did bugger all for the rest of that game. Really, I mean, they had a lot of the ball, and they looked pretty good when they moved the ball, but there was no cutting edge, which we expected from them anyway.
Yeah.
Because they have no forward players, and then they also had wingers playing at full back and all sorts. It's really frustrating from that point of view. I was actually quite annoyed about it on Saturday. I've kind of come down from it now. He's not in the team for his defensive work, is he? Let's be honest. But that is a simple thing. It's a simple header away.
He's not in the team,
but he has got height. So he's obviously going to be used at set pieces in both boxes.
Davis wants everyone playing their part defensively.
Oh yeah, 100%. We want them doing that, to be fair. So.
Yeah. And then to be fair, I think it's a fair comment to say that he isn't doing enough the other end of the pitch. I think when you look at a more natural number 10, he's more of a luxury player, and if things aren't happening around him, then he can be out of a game for 70 minutes, and he might do one thing that either wins you the game or gets you a goal, or he scores a couple of goals, and it's moments of magic. But it's not enough when the rest of the team aren't doing enough. If the rest of the team are playing well, we're scoring goals and we're winning games 2-0, then you can carry that passenger. And you can do that. What we're missing at the moment is someone in that number 10, for me anyway, someone in that number 10 position that is going to contribute regularly throughout the game. He's going to be a constant threat throughout the game.
Yeah, someone that influences the game a little bit more regularly, and more of a potential like ball carrier that sort of almost links the midfield from attack to midfield and vice versa. I don't know. He's come in. He obviously had his injury issue when he came in, and then he was out again with an injury. But his goal and assist return is actually, I think his goal contribution is actually pretty good for the amount of games he's played. So, I mean, yeah, but at least we've got options now, haven't we? So, which is probably a nice sort of segue into, obviously, Priska came on Saturday. Now, I saw a lot of people seem to get excited about his cameo, and he did a couple of nice things where he sort of held the ball up and linked play fairly nicely. It was very obvious to me that he is going to have to get up to speed with the physicality of the league pretty quickly, but we thought that would be the case anyway, because you look at the leagues he's been playing in, and they're nowhere near as physical as a championship. And he was looking for the free kick a lot of the time. He was never going to get it. They were not fouls, but it's I'm sure he'll adapt fairly quickly.
Yeah, he's got to get used to the fact that the EFL refs aren't going to give anything to him either.
A lot of them just weren't fouls. No. It was just I think he's realised that this is a very, very physical league, and he's not used to it. So,
but it might be the type of free kicks that you get in when you're playing in Sweden. You go down, they buy them the same.
Yeah, I mean, if potentially.
The the
He had
one
one.
the
Sorry, go
one
on.
I was going to say, the one moment that I really liked was when there was a high ball that was coming down. He didn't just try and flick it on. We mentioned this last week as well. I think it was like he chested it to, I don't know who it was
Yes.
that he chested it, but chested
Yeah.
it to his teammate on the turn like crouch. And it was really clever play. And it was just that awareness and the control of the ball to not
Yeah.
just go, right, the ball's coming down, flick it on, hope for the best. It was actual really quality play, and glimpses of that, I think.
No, that was nice. I know exactly which moment you're talking about. He did have one shot, didn't he? Which he
He
seemed
somehow managed to get a shot away.
he
It didn't look like it was
desperately wanted
possible.
to get it onto his right foot. Now, when I'd watched finishes from him and footage of him, he seemed to use both feet quite what I would deem fairly comfortably, and he had the space to hit it with his left foot, and he brought it onto his right to hit it, and it just sort of looped and bobbled up into the goalkeeper. I was like, he had space to hit that with his left, and I'm not quite sure why he didn't do it because the player that I'd watched clips on YouTube of definitely can hit a ball with his left foot. So no one's. I don't think anyone else picked up on that, but it was a nice enough cameo. I think he'll get a few more minutes here and there as the season goes on, and I think once he gets used to the pace and the physicality of the league, he's obviously going to be. He should make a good impact, but yeah, there was no one else that made a debut on Saturday, was
Well,
there?
before well, Osman and him. And before we do move on, we've got. I'm going to murder his name here, but talking about Priska, Priska, Priska,
Priska.
I'll murder his name as well.
Maybe this guy knows.
Yeah. So we've got an expert in Scandinavian football, Peder Nystrom.
Hi, all Blues fans and We Are Birmingham listeners. I understand that you are curious about your new striker, August Priskia, so I'm going to try to offer you some insight into what you can expect from your recent signing. In short, I would describe him as a tall, fast, and physical forward with a very high work rate and a nose for goal. After a season and a half in the Swedish league, he has developed into a very clinical finisher who, since finding form, has always seemed to be at the right place at the right time, with his sort of standout strengths being his finishing and positioning. He uses his pace and physicality to find space in the opposition's defense. And this has allowed him to pretty much score goals in every way imaginable. He has scored with his right foot, left foot, with his head, but also both from inside the penalty area and from a distance. So it's no surprise that he has developed a reputation as a significant goal threat. He was the tied top scorer during the 2025 season, managing to score 18 goals in 27 games, despite really only finding the net consistently during the second half of the season. But since finding form, he has been extremely consistent. Something noteworthy is that in the final 17 games of the season, he scored 16 times. But even before his sort of goal scoring spree began, he was a very useful player to his team. And despite having sort of target forward capabilities, he doesn't tend to get isolated from the game at all. He constantly makes run behind the opposition's defense while in possession, but also presses the opponent's build up while they're in possession. And he supports his teammates defensively as well. So he doesn't really have any red flags in his style of play. He has all the traits that you want to see in a striker. The only thing that I think is worth mentioning is that he's had a relatively short time in goal scoring form, but that is also to be expected of a player his age. Has already been at quite a few big clubs. So they've obviously all seen something in him, and some patience was probably all he needed to find his big breakthrough. Um, so for the past few months, it's really only been a matter of time before he found a move to a bigger league. And despite his young age, he comes across as a very mature person. He's declined moves to other European clubs since the summer transfer window, either because the financial package to his former club was not sufficient, or that he didn't find the sort of sporting project exciting enough. And I can't really imagine him having any problems whatsoever in terms of adapting to the physicality of the championship. He's tall and strong and fast and knows how to make use of his size. But it's hard to say what a realistic first team expectation could be. But I don't think Birmingham would pay the amount of money that they have unless they saw him as a potential starter, at least in the long run. But something to take into consideration is that he has recently come off a long season where he got many minutes, but hasn't played football since the start of November. So some patience might be needed because he would literally just have started his preseason had he stayed in Sweden. But overall, I think he has all the qualities necessary to make an impact in the championship. Yeah, so I hope I've been able to give you some insight into your new signing, and I'm very excited to follow his progression in the championship and at the Blues.
Thank you, Peter, Pete. Go and give him a follow on Twitter. Really nice guy. So thanks for sending that over. I like the fact that he basically summarised what we've seen bits of as well. And he obviously mentioned about the right foot, left foot, head that you.
Yeah, I was just like, see, yeah. Do you know one thing as well that I didn't mention earlier, but he is very fleet-footed for someone of his size, isn't he? I should have mentioned that before you put that on, but yeah, I was quite surprised by it, actually, because it was quite hard to tell with some of the footage that you were watching previously, but it's all very positive, isn't it? And he doesn't think he'll have any problem adapting to the championship. I think it will take time. The game seems faster here as well, so yeah, no, it's all positive. And he obviously he will be given time. He's won for the future as much as he is now. We've invested quite a lot of money, long contract. So
the one thing that he did say was that he was strong, and for me, I'm not sure strength wise that we've seen that. He maybe looked the free kicks and stuff maybe looked a little bit weak, but he did look, from the one where we mentioned where he chested the ball down, looks like he knows how to use his frame, use his physique. So
a handful of games and he'll be able to cope with that a little bit better.
I'm absolutely not slating him straight away.
No,
he's weak. He's a young lad, and I think that there's so much potential there. And we said last week, we're absolutely buzzing that we've managed to get that deal done. That it's an exciting one.
Yeah, absolutely is exciting.
Should we roll that into transfers then?
That makes sense, doesn't it? I think, yeah. So obviously a lot of people are quite excited about our new signing. This was a snowball, wasn't it? Really.
I mean, last week we talked about it and said, don't think that there's much in it. The people that we'd asked, like, no.
The club obviously didn't think they could do it at that point, and it was downplayed quite significantly, actually. And then until there was a change.
Big Tom goes and stands on stage at the weekend and goes, "Hablo español."
Yeah, right. Put the beer down, Tom. And even at that point, it wasn't close to being done. Really, there obviously had been talk of it. Obviously progressed to some amount, but they were really nervous about trying to get this even up to the very, very last minute, based on bits, weren't they? So.
And very excited about getting the deal done as well, though, weren't they? I think that's.
I mean,
too excited.
They are paying a lot of money here now.
It's not it's not the 50 grand a week that's mentioned, but we don't know how far off that it is.
It's not. Well, as far as we're aware, it's not. But we don't think it's that far off. He certainly comes in as the highest paid player at the club. So, from my understanding, and you've got people like Dimmy on something similar as well. So, it's
so I'm just going to jump in there, and I'm going to try and get the comment board on. Hang on, give me a sec. Will it work? Zarking 57 grand a week, I've heard.
Oh,
I'm
Nikola
I'm
Zivic.
pretty sure that that's not right.
Yeah, that's not right. So they're banning around this 2.6 million or something for his salary, and there's people talking about 50 grand a week now. Basic probably isn't that much, but everything else considered,
Appearance
probably,
fees and
yeah,
whatever else.
it probably does take it up to around that. But it's a lot of money either way. It's a lot of outlay, and I'm going to be honest. How do you feel about it? Because when you look at him as like a difference maker or someone that could change a game, it seems like it seems a lot of money, both from not my money, not your money. Um, how do you feel about it? Because I want to try and articulate things from my side properly without sounding like I'm negative about the signing, because I'm not, but I'm trying to be balanced. So I'm going to let you speak first, and I'm going to try and put my point across
Hey,
after I
put the
listen to you.
pressure on me. Hey. So I'm excited by the fact that we're signing a player from La Liga who's been doing bits over there. Not watching the clips of him. Not a skillful, tricky player who's
No,
and obviously the Jack Ward video that he put out sort of shows the type of style that he is and how
very
the
good video
difference.
as well. So worth watching that. There's also a Substack out by Expected Birmingham, which does a nice breakdown as well. So that is also worth checking out.
Yeah, but he's not like the different winger from what we've got. The tricky guy who comes inside, bit inverted winger. He's very much a traditional get down the line, try and get across into the box. And
Yes.
the times that I have seen him with like beat a man, it's been on either pace or a bit of luck, and he's sort of tried to beat his man, and it's like ricocheted a couple of times, and he's ended up taking the ball out the other side. Now you make your own luck. So I am excited. I'm very excited because I don't think that they're going to go out and waste this money on someone.
The data is obviously telling them something that maybe isn't obvious to
Yeah.
the naked eye. It makes me laugh. It's this not a slight on the player. I'm going to try and articulate this properly. So people talk about going abroad because you get better value for money, and they've gone to Spain, paid 7 million, whatever it is in wages, for an old-fashioned British winger.
And ginger Latino.
Ginger.
Man.
Yeah. Yes.
What's
Looks like
probably
he was a kind of iron brewed, is that man?
what's probably really telling is the fact that their fans were gutted about losing him.
Yeah.
Now, if he's got to have something about him that, like, sometimes highlights show you players, and you watch these highlight reels, and you're like, I can't fucking wait to see them play, and then they're terrible. So maybe it's the other way around, and the highlights look okay, but nothing amazingly Spanish.
Well, I remember how bad.
Amazingly Spanish. Amazingly
I remember
special.
how bad Austin Trusty was when I watched footage of him before we signed him on loan, and I thought, what are we doing? And then he came in, I was just like, he's actually much better than
And now
I was
people want
expecting.
him back every transfer window.
Yeah, he's one of those, isn't he? But I think the thing with Zente is the fact that he's mega, mega hard working. He's literally a box to box winger. He can win the ball high up the pitch. He looks like he's got a very good delivery, which is wild because the amount of crosses he puts into the box is really, really high, and it's supposed to be quite good chance creation, but Alaves obviously have got nobody in playing up front or anyone arriving in the box to finish that. Now, from obviously our style of play will probably change a little bit. It's going to add a different dynamic to the way we play, which is what we need. gives us a little bit of variation. It gives us the chance to probably, like, away from home and against those teams that have more of the ball, you'd think it'd be perfect because you can bomb forward. But we have to hope that we've got players that are going to bomb forward with him and get in the box. Otherwise, we're paying £7 million and £45,000 a week to a guy that's putting a cross out for a throw-in 5-6 times a game on the other side of the pitch. That is. So,
You're right though. We have got to get up there.
Yes, and we're not very good at that. So there has to be a big change in the way that we start moving forward quicker, because it's been a problem with us. We don't play at pace. When we have played at pace and moved the ball forward at pace, we've done pretty well. So those
Blackburn away
and Coventry more recently.
Yeah.
So and when we play like that and we're relinquishing more of possession and we're going a little bit more direct and let's say front foot football, then I think he will absolutely be worth it. And I think Prisco will benefit from it. You'd expect Stansfield to benefit from it. And you know what? Providing he's still with us, which I think he probably will be, Kyogo should, when he's playing, thrive on that sort of stuff as well. So I came round to it a bit. The team and our style of players will have to adapt. And Davies they must have that in their mind when they signed in.
Something different.
Yes.
I think that for me is key. That it's not just someone who's gonna rotate and do the same thing. It's something completely different.
So
And I
people
like
that are looking at wingers nowadays, like modern wingers, are all inverted, cut inside. So your Damari Grays, your Patrick Roberts type. That this is more old school. For those of you that are of a certain age, then if you go back to Stan Lazaridis or John McCarthy, it's a very similar type of winger to those guys. So Lazaridis was fantastic. I loved him. He never really had loads of assists either. In fact, I'm sure once he actually got onto the end of one of his own crosses. John McCarthy, again, really, really hard working. He'd just deliver balls into the box consistently. So, I think from a point of getting the ball forward quickly and just our style of play changing, and I think he will create chances. I think, and there'll be occasions where he does put the ball in and there's going to be nobody there. We need to not get frustrated, because I think everyone needs to adapt. The good thing about him is he's obviously ex-rugby player. I don't know if anyone's read the article. I think it's in The Athletic I read. So he's huge into rugby. He played rugby up to quite a late age and then went into football. Nearly quit football, actually. I think that was as early as recent as like 2022 or 2023. He wasn't sure whether he was going to make it in professional football, and then obviously his career exploded. But yeah, physical. I don't think we talk about physicality of foreigners coming over here and playing our game, and he not over here.
We're not going that route again.
Over where you are. He will have no issue settling from a physicality point of view.
Well, that's probably. I'm just going to jump in there. Something
very good English, by the way, as well.
Yeah,
I was quite surprised at how.
Thanks, mate. Oh, do you mean him?
Yeah, his is better than yours.
Something that I just wanted to jump in and say there actually is that historically we haven't got a great record with Spaniards.
Yes,
so
Chris another Chris on Twitter last night I was speaking to, he brought that up. I think it's Chris BCFC. He's a good lad. I think he does tend to listen to the podcast. So if you are listening, Chris, hello. But yeah, really good point. It's well made by him. They traditionally not done well at Blues or settled at Blues, have they?
No. So maybe that will be a difference maker. Someone who's got the physical attributes to fit in a little bit. I mean, San Jose gave him the thumbs up. So very good player. So take that endorsement.
Probably a shout out for the hard working Craig Gardner, who, once again, Chris, what has he done? He's beat off a lot of people
beat off a lot of a lot
to
of
get his
people to
man.
get the deal done.
This
Yeah,
was a hard one, apparently. So,
beat them off.
I mean, we weren't sure this was a thing or that it was going to happen. It didn't necessarily. They obviously the club weren't sure about it and weren't positive, and obviously something changed very, very quickly. I imagine it had something to do with pound sterling, but it's happened now, and I wouldn't say he's an exciting signing as such, but I'm excited about his addition to the team. I think that makes sense.
I'm cautiously optimistic about
Yes.
it. I don't want to get too carried away, but I think that we're going to see something different, and that's quite exciting for me.
It should, in theory, probably help Solis settle as well, potentially. So you've got, obviously, I think Peck can speak Spanish as well. So you've got him, and you're going to have Vicente, who's very good English, obviously speaks Spanish. So he will help, help him settle as well. So
Apparently, Damari Gray's a very good Spanish speaker as well.
is that right?
No, no, not as far as I know.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that then. But, yeah, obviously, just talking nonsense.
Absolute nonsense. We've got a couple of comments before we move on.
Yes.
So American Blue Nose, Will Heatley here, lads. Really excited to see where CV fits in the system, or if maybe Roberts moves more centrally behind a second striker. For depth, it could be really good
We
business.
spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we have spoken about that, and do you want to discuss it now?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to seeing Roberts inside. It's finding that balance, isn't it? Okay, it's almost maybe opposition dependent. You could say where you want to use Vicente and where you want to use Roberts. You can absolutely play them together. Roberts can play as a 10. Yeah, they've got to find the right combination, haven't they, with this one, really? But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a change in that spot behind the main striker at some point, whether that be Roberts, whether that be Gray, whether that be Osman. I think there will be something a little different. It won't always be Dux or Stansfield.
I'd be quite happy to see, like you say, we spoke about it. I'd be quite happy to see Roberts go in there. I think that the trickery that he's got, and the fact that he's very good at playing the ball through. The ball that he played for Kumas through was beautiful, and we don't see enough of that. So
he's very creative.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Whether he would, I don't know. Oh, bear with me. Sorry about that. We're back.
Not sure what
hopefully
happened
we're
there.
back. Hopefully we are.
Can someone just give us a comment to say we are back, if possible?
Someone said, "Unfortunately, you're back." No, they haven't.
Hi, Mum.
There was another couple of comments that I was going to bring up as well.
Yeah, go on.
If I can figure it out. Do we think he's better than Roberts? That's the thing, I suppose. Time will tell. Paul Bennett.
He's different. I know they're both wingers, and you can compare wingers, but he's different, and you can play them together, you can play them independently from each other.
He's a different option. I think that's what we were saying before. But I imagine for the move, he's going to be expecting to be playing. So we might. Are you okay?
Yes, yeah.
We might just have to move things about and shuffle things a bit. So, and then that was followed up by Zarking, who said he's been doing it in Spain, Spanish top league, so must be good for the championship. I mean,
yeah, you'd certainly hope so. But as Gates, beyond, no one's doubting his capability of playing the game, but it's also just as much about settling in the area and things like that. So I think he'll be fine. We'll see. We'll see how he gets on. I'll keep going back to it, but the way we play, I think, will probably change to get the best out of him.
Do you think that, can you see Davies changing the system? Because that's something that he's done very little of, and he's the only time that I can remember seeing us change system to an actual structured system is when we've been leading a tight game, and we've gone three at the back, wing backs, and we've gone defensively Preston, Cov, and the other time is where we've just taken off loads of defenders and thrown people forward chasing the game, but it hasn't had much structure to it.
That's desperation, isn't it? I think so. Sort of, yeah. So my general feeling is, if you look at the strength of Kai Wagner on that left hand side, who likes to bomb forward and get crosses in early and frequently, which is what he did in the MLS. If you remember what we used to do with Laird when he was fit, and what we sort of tried to do with Bos, but it hasn't really worked, is essentially that the back four as it is almost comes into a three when we've got the ball. So the right back will technically sort of tuck inside. You're going to have Vicente hugging the left touchline and Wagner hugging the right touchline, and then Wagner hugging the left touchline. Then you're going to have, hopefully at this point, Damari Gray cutting inside as well, so almost acting as like that second 10. So we did it that way, where we used to have Willemsen cutting in as like that second 10, and Laird coming down the right hand side in League One. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something similar to that, but I think the important thing is I can see us potentially moving away from being that what was more heavy possession and trying to keep the ball and try and move the ball forward more quickly. Now, we haven't seen a lot of that under Davis, but we have done it, and he has done it a few times, and he has normally done it to fairly good effect. So that my feeling is the system, the actual starting formation will probably always be something along the lines of 4-2-3-1, but it will end up looking more like a 3-1-5 something or other, or actually you're going to end up having almost 4-5 players up front when we are attacking the ball. So you have maybe Wagner crossing in from one way and Vicente crossing in from the other way, and then you hopefully have a box full of forwards and midfielders that are willing to sort of try and finish these chances. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how it pans out, but things will have to change to get the best out of both of those players, I think.
I think to get the best out of lots of the players that we're bringing in, I think they don't massively completely fit with what we've been doing. So we'll see, won't we? There's a couple of more comments before we move on and look towards Oxford, if I can find them. See, Dave sitting there with the comments. It's so much easier when I don't have to do it. Right, here's one from Paul B. Willemsen, can you see him leaving before the end of the window? I mean, I can't. There's talk of it now. I think he's down that pecking order. We've talked about the wingers, the 10s. Everyone can pretty much play across that front line.
The same since
the injury.
Probably, his injury that he had in the winter. He came towards the end of the season. He had a little spell. He scored one or two against Mansfield when we beat them 6-1. I can't remember what the score was in that game, but he looked all right then. But then he's come back this season, and it's not happened for him. I'm not sure how happy he is here either. So it'd be no surprise if he ends up going back to Holland.
Yeah, agreed. And then Zarking, any names for the centre back hopefully coming in?
Well, we created a bit of hysteria around this. So whoever it was they were working on hasn't come to fruition. And you wonder now, with the money they've spent on Vicente, whether there's still going to be room for manoeuvre for a centre-back. You would like to see it, but again, anyone that comes in is going to be looking for game time. You've got to try and keep the players we've got in there happy. And you've also got Jack Robinson and Buchanan to come back fairly soon, who both can play centre. Well, Buchanan can play at a push. He has played centre back before, the left side of a three. Robinson obviously is more comfortable there, and then obviously they can both play left back as well. So with Cochrane out probably probably for the rest of the season. I don't know whether they're going to take the plunge on a centre back now. I think it'd have to be that they're not going to sign somebody for the sake of signing another body in there. If we can't guarantee game time, not going to improve the team.
They're not going to panic buy, essentially.
No. I think unless there's something significant goes out, so unless Williamson goes out, Kanya goes out, and anybody else goes out, I think we might be done. I'm not sure. I think we'd both. Everybody would like another centre back, because I don't think many people are convinced by Neumann, and Robinson goes from being really good to not trying to be kind, and he's obviously potentially a walking red card as well, isn't he? So there is a concern from that side of things, but I don't know. How do you feel about it? Because I'm more leaning now that we probably won't do any more incoming business. I think that's probably us, but I don't know.
I'm with you, but I'm probably at the never say never point, and that if something pops up, we might have spoken to someone earlier in the window and it's not going to happen, and then at the last minute,
there are a lot of moving parts of transfer, isn't it? You have to wait to see what other clubs are doing. Are they, would they bring players in? Then do their players become expendable?
Yeah.
So I think they would like to do something, whether or not the money is there to do anything significant that will improve the team. Because you don't just want to bring in a body for the sake of bringing a body, because they're not going to play. It's just going to be frustrating for them. They've moved because they're expecting to play football, and it doesn't happen. So, and then it creates unrest in the squad. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But what is it? Monday next week, is it 7 o'clock? The transfer window
Tuesday,
closes?
I think, isn't it?
Is it Tuesday? Is it?
I think so. I could be wrong. We should, like you say, we should research these things before we go. We go live. Right. Shall we move on? Shall we have a look ahead to Oxford this weekend? Right. Before we do, we've got a comment that's so Jack Ward has popped up into the comments, and he's Paul White has said, "Great vids, Jack. Keep it up." Now, Jack, you've joined us live on the
just like magic.
Just like magic.
Was Paul White a bot, Chris? Did you plant him on there?
I didn't. No. So Jack actually jumped into the comments before the podcast and said even all.
So I can't see the comments. So.
No. You should have them up. Jack was in there having a chat with everyone. So Jack, thanks for joining us. Good evening.
Cheers, guys. Yeah. Good evening.
Good.
It's going to be a tough game Saturday, isn't it?
Well, before we do move on to that, actually, I just want to give you kudos really for what you've been putting out there for Blues. I know that you've obviously got the picked up on Blues going out and splashing the cash, so it's an easy one to get some content out there for. But it's great for our fans. The content that you've put out is fantastic, and people that are a bit doubtful of certain players, we've just gone, just watch this video, go and have a look at this, and it tells you everything you need to know about them. So
Cheers,
when do you sleep? When did you sleep?
Now, normally.
Sorry.
No, it's no, I appreciate it. I've seen a few people sort of say, since these videos have come out, people are now expecting all of these players to be unbelievably good, which I'm not on the payroll of any of these players or their contracts. I'm purely sort of trying to give a fair assessment of them, but I'm really pleased that people have enjoyed them. And as I said to you earlier, it was one of those things where there isn't really much of it out there, and so I sort of saw an opportunity to sort of have a bit of a chat, and if there's a fan base to get on the right side of the championship, is probably Birmingham.
But our fans are so thirsty as well, so you'll get quite a lot of views and clicks from our lot. they're whores for that sort of stuff, aren't they, Chris?
They are. We love it, but I think that's football fans in general. To be fair, I think we all just love a bit of.
People love transfers, right? I think
Yep.
people just people love to see clubs spending all the money and then hoping that they're going to be the second coming of Messi, but that's not always the case. We can hope though, right?
So, which one of our signings is the second coming of Messi?
I'm trying to think of the closest to Messi. To be honest, I don't think you've quite found him in this window. But I mean, you know, there's an opportunity. I mean, you know, spend all the money, win all the games. That seems to be that's the hope, isn't it?
Oh, it would
That'd
be
be
nice.
nice,
It'd
yeah.
be really nice. We could maybe start that this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
So let's move on to that then, because if you look back on the comments, you've had a few nice comments coming in, so you can look at them afterwards. What are your thoughts on Oxford's season so far?
Where do I start? I think I imagine that's probably what every fan of any club says when they get asked that question. I feel like we've had about 3 seasons in one, really. I mean, I feel like we've had lots of different chapters to one season. I feel like it's dragged, I'll be honest, gents. I feel like it's absolutely dragged. And we're still only in January. But, I mean, you're catching me or us, I'd say, in a good spot, really, off the back of a win at Leicester and 2 draws against Bristol City and QPR, which on the face of it, sort of in isolation, they were sort of frustrating points because we need wins at the bottom end of the table. But then to back that up against Leicester, that was really, really important for us. But the start of the season was bad. Obviously, we had Gary Rowett, who did the unthinkable in keeping little Oxford United in the Championship last season, and then it just didn't really work. It didn't carry on in that fashion. I think Oxford fans do that thing as football fans do when results slip, and he's one of those managers. When results slip, unfortunately, that level of performance doesn't always match that. It's great when you're winning, but when you're not, it can be quite a difficult watch. And when you're slipping down the table in front of your eyes, it's also sort of quite challenging to watch as well. And ultimately, I think he did lose the supporters and lost his job. Then Matt Bloomfield came in, which I think a lot of people were quite surprised about. I think a lot of fans, not just Oxford United fans, were quite surprised by that. Obviously, Matt Bloomfield's time in the Championship hasn't been sort of shiny, really. I mean, he had a time in at Luton, obviously, when he got given that job midway through the season, around sort of this time last season, and obviously couldn't keep Luton up. I think there's probably a few mitigating circumstances to that, with the fact that they were in total free fall for the entire season. I think they stayed up, went down, and didn't stay up on goal difference. But ultimately, he did get relegated and then lost his job in League One. But he did have some good spells before that at Wickham and Colchester. So it was a strange appointment from the outside. I think internally it was one of those where we've been waiting 3 weeks for an appointment, and it was Matt Bloomfield. And I mean that in the total respect to Matt Bloomfield, who's done a fantastic job. I think his ability to win a fan base over early, and I know results help with that. And ultimately, that's what wins fans over, is performances and results on the pitch. He has done that, but I think there was that feeling of, we've waited a while for this. Is a recently relegated Championship manager the right person to bring in when we're currently in a dogfight in the Championship? But like you say, you've caught us on a good time. We're in a good place at the moment, but not in a place that's ultimately going to keep us in the league as of right now. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I've sort of answered your question in sort of a monologue form, but I think it's one of those, really. You could speak for an hour on this on the season so far, but as of now, we're okay. It will inevitably all crumble at 5 o'clock Saturday.
I noticed with you guys is, although you're sort of languishing down at the bottom end of the table, apart from, I think it was Stoke, where I think they beat you 3 or 4
3-0 at home. Yeah.
3-0. You're always at play really, really close games. You're only never like really one goal in most of the defeats and most of the games you play. What do you put that down to?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think in terms of competing in games, that's something that we have been good at. I think we haven't been the punching bag, which is always nice. We haven't really been steamrolled. And if you look at a few teams down there, I think Pompey have been beaten 4-0. I don't know if Blackburn have had any sort of thumpings, but again, the goal difference is quite telling. We certainly don't have the worst goal difference in the league, which is important. And if it does come down to goal difference or things like that come the end of the season, that could be quite significant. And you're right. I think in terms of performances and the way that we played in games, I think we have been quite competitive. And we've actually picked up some really good. I mean, ironically, in terms of our wins, I think our last 3 wins have been all 3 teams that have been relegated from the Premier League last season. So we think we beat, we've beaten Southampton on Boxing Day, just beaten Leicester. So we're in terms of beating teams, it seems to be the teams at the top end of the table that we're most sort of capable of beating. It's the teams down the bottom that we've struggled against. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that is something that's important for us, and I think it's something that we've learned over the last couple of weeks, and this is probably relevant for the Birmingham game. I think if you are Oxford and you are a team like us, and that is a phrase that gets thrown around, teams like Oxford, but it's true. We know what we are in this league. I think at the same time, it's important for Oxford to approach games and look at the opposition as of what they are, not what we think they are. And what I mean by that is, against Leicester, it was, oh my God, we're playing Leicester. They've just been relegated from the Premier League. Everybody ourselves are just sort of expecting us to lose that game. But actually, if we play the Leicester that is currently in front of us in the Championship, they're not actually that great. No. And we actually can give them a really good go, and we prove that we can beat them. Same with Coventry. We've done that with Leicester as well. And then we sort of seem to go to games at home to Swansea, for example, and sort of go, well, I think, if we look at the league table, this is one we should be attacking. And then we end up losing 1-0 and don't really sort of get anywhere near them, even though the scoreline was only 1-0. So in terms of looking at games, I think the only way we can do it is look at them in sort of reality as to what the situation is. And no disrespect to Birmingham, but although Birmingham, with all of the excitement and quality of player you've got, you're not a side in the top 6 currently. So it's one of those where we have to play the team that is in front of us purely of what we've currently witnessed, I guess.
Take your foot off the gas for it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Chewy, I'm just going to jump in there actually. So we've got a couple of, you were obviously talking about the managers changing over and whatever. We've got a couple of contrasting comments for you. Okay. So we've got one from Czar King that said, think you were silly getting rid of Rowett. And then you've had a complete contrast one. So Paul B has said Matt Bloomfield was one of the only reasons there was any challenge to us last season in League One. He got that Wickham side playing some excellent stuff for the first half of the season. So there you go. Two contrasting views. We've obviously got experience from Rowett ourselves.
Yeah. So what is the difference? What has your style of play changed with Bloomfield taking over now? Has there been a significant shift in the way you guys play?
Yeah, I don't think we would have beaten Leicester with Gary Rowett. And that again, and the issue that we had with Gary Rowett was, I don't think he trusted the players to play any other way than, if we take the lead, we're just going to hope the other team don't score and sit on the edge of our box.
I think that was Gary Rowett, to be fair.
Yes, yeah,
and I think, and that was obviously quite frustrating, because when you're playing a side like Leicester, I mean, it was turning out to be a consolation goal, obviously at the weekend, but that wouldn't have felt like a consolation goal at all. If Gary Rowett was in, that would have been the start of an incredible comeback. And I don't think we'd have been 2-0 up in that game at all. I think we'd have gone 1-0 up. I think we went 1-0 up inside the first 5 minutes of that game. It would have been a very, very different game following that. And again, I'm not one of those people that are going to sit on here and say Gary Rowett was a bad manager. He did something that nobody thought we'd be able to do last season and keep us in the league. And he did that in a very distinctive way. But this season, I think it was a case of, we tried at the start of the season to be a little bit more expansive and maybe listen to that a little bit too much. And then as soon as the results didn't come there, he was like, right, I've shown you I've tried to be expansive. We've lost loads of games. Let's now revert back and almost go backwards 100. And then it was very, very tricky. So I think Bloomfield has installed a bit of energy. I think a little bit of sort of belief. I think he's now playing a few more. I think that the players look a bit more free, if that makes sense. There's a bit more freedom to it. And how long can that last? People sort of go about, manager bounces and stuff like that. But I actually did think the performance against Leicester was more than a manager bounce. I think it was actually a really good performance, and we deserved to beat them. So, yeah, but I haven't heard awful things about Gary Rowett at Birmingham. I mean, he nearly kept you in the league, right? I mean, it was close.
I mean, he started.
So we had him for a long time before then as well, didn't we? A few years back. So
I've not forgiven him for starting Ollie Burke in that
the Rotherham game.
Yeah, the Rotherham game. That was unforgivable. Ollie Burke, who's now gone on to great things, by the way.
So who do we need to look out for on Saturday? Who's the danger man?
I think as of, I can only sort of do it over the last
Or
couple of
men.
games. That's when we've been most dangerous. I think in terms of how I expect us to play, especially against Birmingham, I think a lot of it's going to be transitional. I think a lot of it's going to be on the break. So in terms of our quickest players and the players I think are going to be the most dangerous on the counter, I'd say Stanley Mills on the right, and I'd say Pitt Harris on the left, who's come in and looked really, really good. He's athletic, he's powerful, he can carry the ball, he's pretty skillful. Also aerially really good as well, and we sort of lack that ability, I think, in the forward areas to have a bit of a focal point. Even though he's a winger, I think he's still been really good at doing that. So yeah, I mean, look, we haven't got star players, to be quite frank with you. We haven't got star players. That's not how our squad's built. We've got really good players in certain positions. But of course, we know that if we've got any chance of winning any game in this league, it's going to have to come as a collective. It's going to have to come as a really sort of unified performance. So I'd say that the wide players are where the strength's going to come if we're going to try and score a goal against you, because I don't imagine us to play Birmingham, even though we're at home. I don't expect us to sort of be knocking the ball about and playing with 65% possession. I imagine the possession will be in your favour.
I say that, but we've sacrificing a bit of possession lately. So
You haven't played Oxford yet.
So you actually stole my question there, Chewy. So I'm gonna roll back from that one.
Sorry.
What are your hopes and expectations for the rest of the season then, Jack?
Stay in the league. That'd be nice. Stay in the league. I think that has to be that's the hope. I think expectations difficult, because that changes. Your expectation has to change as the season goes on. At the start of the season, I don't think Oxford United, unless we've been here for 3 or 4 years and we build and build and build as an established championship side, I think it's going to take quite a few years before we can say that we expect to stay in this league. I don't think that's a sentence that you're going to hear us say for a long time. But of course, we hope to stay in this league, and that's something that I think we have been pretty aggressive in January. I think we have realised that we've had to change the model a little bit in terms of bringing in some younger players, that if we do go down, we've got assets there, or we've got players that are going to be good at League One level. And then at the same time, we've also got players that can make an impact now. And if there's ever an opportunity to develop a player for League One, do it in the Championship for 6 months. Again, that might sound really negative. If we stay in the league, that's fantastic. But I think we've approached January in the right way. I'd much rather of us sort of do that than go and sign lots of experienced championship players that are 32 years of age and then be stuck with them in League One on loads and loads of money. The hope is always to stay in the league, of course, but we have to be realistic, and we have to start picking up 3 points, and a home game, whoever it may be, is obviously one of our better opportunities to do that. Having said that, I think we've won just as many away games this season, so maybe that isn't a stat to run home with.
I wish we had.
Yeah, I think I did the video. The video I just put out today, and I think Oxford are higher on the away table than Birmingham, which made me feel
was not surprised.
which made me feel pretty uncomfortable, I'll be honest.
What have we won? 2 away games?
I think you're 19th on the away table.
Sheffield Wednesday and Preston. I think that's it, isn't
Blackburn.
it? Oh, Blackburn, 3 away games.
Just about Blackburn.
Just about that one, yeah.
So,
Dykes, rest of these.
Yeah, shame. Where do you think Blues will be dangerous? Because you've obviously done all your research on our new signings and whatnot. So where are we dangerous?
I'd like to. Well, a question will be how many of these players that you've signed play. I don't know whether or not you're gonna throw them straight in. I'll be honest, and I sort of said this a second ago without repeating myself. I actually am. I think that the players that you have brought in for the level are very, very good. I think they have to be very, very good, and they've done it at a really high level. So I think I like Priska. I think he's a really, really exciting player, not just for the now, but for the future. I think Vicente probably is now. I think he has to hit the ground running, really, at the age he is and the money. I think he has to hit the ground running, and I would be terrified of his balls into the area, to be honest. I would be intrigued to see if you play a midfield of Solis and Doyle. I've sort of been advocating for that in every single video, and nobody's sort of catching note of that. I'd be hoping that happens. But
we've talked about that earlier on, but Doyle's not in the best form at the moment. So.
No. And Chris Davies has a penchant for playing Peck quite a lot. Peck's a very, very, very good footballer, but he is Chris Davies' favourite.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, those have been the responses I've sort of received along those lines. Not direct quotes, some slightly more appropriate than others, about Chris Davis's potential relationship with him. But I think, I think you should, and this is going to sound sort of really broad and maybe not as analytical as you're hoping for. You should have quality all over the pitch, guys. To be honest, I think that should be the case. And the pace you've got with Osman terrifies me. I think you've got the delivery now on the other side with VIC NT. You've got that option of playing Roberts sort of inside, which again with his technical capabilities, I think he can definitely do that in the 10. You've got strikers up front. I mean, you've got Stansfield, who certainly is a great striker. Priska, I think, is a different kind of player. Kyogo, if he's got his shooting boots on, we know how good of a finisher he is. I really like the signing of Wagner. I've been having so much stick that I keep forgetting you signed in this window. You have signed Wagner. I can put this on record. He has played well at left back. You can stop telling me you've signed him.
He was
do a
the
video,
first
Jack.
signing.
Do a video. Come on.
I don't think I could go through the pain of reading those comments.
Backdate it.
But no, and what I've always said about, and what I've said throughout the January, the players you brought in, I think before the window you were very, very one-dimensional with how at times. I think you're coming out of the window now with that opportunity to be a lot more, to add a lot more variation, a lot more variety to how you can play. I think it was a case of, right, if we can pass our way to score a goal in that first half of the season, we're going to try and do it. Have you got those players to progress up the pitch or whip a ball into the area, cause a bit of chaos? It's the unpredictable side that are gonna win. You look at Coventry, and I don't think they've been phenomenal in recent weeks. But one thing, when they were amazing and were flying, it's because they were so unpredictable and they could offer 3 or 4 different ways of playing, not just against, not just in one game, actually multiple times within a game. And you can bring different players on and play in different ways. And that's something that Birmingham, I think, linking it back to your initial question, that's something that we've got to be fearful of. Is you've now got. And you should, and this is where Chris Davis is going to earn his money, you should now be able to go, if first 15 minutes, maybe Oxford United are reading you, first 30, 45 minutes, we sort of seem to be sort of comfortable in what you're doing, well, go and make some changes and then give us another sort of another question to answer. And unfortunately, that's ultimately going to, I personally think, and it's not the question you've asked me, but I personally think that's whether or not Chris Davis is going to be here for very longer, is if he has that ability to use now the different elements to a side that I think you've built.
That's the question that we're all asking as well. You've been given the tools, and now can you?
I don't know if I'd like that though. I mean, I would like it. Obviously, all managers want the best players, but now there is no absolutely. He's bought himself a sort of a no excuse zone, which I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that.
With the football that we've been playing previously, I'm happy about it, because you've got to get out your comfort zone a little bit and just take games by the scruff of the neck. So for me,
things need to change. I think these signings, as you've quite rightly said there, give us the opportunity to switch it up quite significantly, and it's all about making sure that the players and Chris Davis adapt now going forward. So
I think what Jack just said about unpredictability, and I know that you mean team-wise, but one of the things that struck me about Osman that I forgot to mention earlier was the fact that it didn't look like he knew what he was doing.
Absolutely
so
not,
no one else can predict what he's going to do when he doesn't know.
He was very much a Labrador puppy chasing a tennis ball around the pitch at some points, but I think he will strike fear into the opposition quite a lot. It will definitely strike fear into me quite frequently as well. I think
you'll cause chaos. Final question for you from me. Unless Chewy, have you got any more that you wanted to ask?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, final one from me then. Prediction.
So I was hoping this wasn't going to come.
Always comes up.
I don't think I've ever gone on an opposition podcast and said that we were going to lose a game, which is ridiculous because we've lost so many. So, I'm gonna go. This is not going to go down very well with the Birmingham fans because I imagine you're going to want to win the game. I think I could see a draw in this game. To be honest, I think if I was going to be really honest, I could probably see a draw. Like I said, the other part of me sort of saying you have to eventually become good away. So, do we want to be the team other than, like you say, Sheffield Wednesday to sort of be the team that allows you to get that away win? Obviously not. But I feel like we're in a much better place at the moment. So I'll go. If you want a specific score, I'll go I'll go 2-2. I feel like we've got a few goals in us. And you've definitely got the players to score against us. So I'm going to say 2-2. But I imagine this is a game that, in your eyes, and with the hope of a late push for the playoffs, this is a game that, if I'm being honest, this is a game that Birmingham have got to win, to be honest.
Will Ben Davis play? Is he? Because I think, did he play against Leicester on?
Yeah, he did. We
Leicester?
changed system against Leicester. We moved to a back three, and I think Davis looks a lot better in a back three, which is interesting because he didn't play in a back three for you, did he? He played in a 4.
It's strange though, because whilst we've played sort of 4-2-3-1, we'd always have one of the fullbacks playing very, very high up the pitch. So it did shift across to a back three when we had the ball and we were playing forward.
Yeah.
So it's probably why he was very comfortable playing in League One with us. I quite like David. He surprised me because you'd heard horror stories from some where was he? From Rangers.
Yeah, we had the same stories.
Yeah, but he was. I live in Northern Ireland, so I get exposed to Rangers fans quite a lot, and we signed a handful of players from up there, and it just, yeah, they were not kind about any of the people that we signed, and they all turned out to be pretty good. So it just goes to show you that Rangers fans probably don't know that much about football anyway. But no, I really like Davis. I would have taken it
when
back.
he's played, he's looked good. I would say that when he's played, he's looked good. The only issue at the moment with Davis is in a back four with the 2 centre backs, he hasn't really been favoured. And the other thing, because he hasn't been favoured week in, week out, it feels like he comes in and plays and then he sort of can't go again. I'd like to maybe see him on a bit of a run after that result against Leicester. I'd be very, very surprised if we change too much in terms of personnel and we change too much in terms of system. And if we do keep both of those, then I think there's all the chance that Davis should play, because we actually are quite short at the back. And Davis, when he's been fit, has looked a really competent centre back.
I think he'd probably have a point to prove as well, because the fact that we didn't try and do a deal for him in the summer, he probably will have a point to prove there. I think, because
was that something that the fans would have been all right?
I would have been okay with it, more for the fact for continuity,
yeah,
really,
a bit of consistency.
Going into the Championship. But then we ended up selling half of the players that got us promoted anyway, or moving most of them on. So that continuity kind of dispersed pretty quickly over the summer, didn't it? But
yeah,
I would have brought him back.
I'd have had him over Cashin.
I'd still have him now, to be fair.
Yeah.
Honest, yeah.
I think at the start of the season we thought that we were maybe going to be aiming a little bit higher and getting a little bit better. We'd already bought Neumann in at that point, and we thought that we were probably going to get someone that was going to be to a really good standard, and it just nothing developed. So then, I mean, he got injured very early on anyway, didn't he? So
the Cashin one, although this is a bit of an irrelevant point to an opposition about that Cashin has no links to Oxford, but it's really interesting what you say about Cashin, because obviously we didn't have him, but we played against him so often in League One when he was at Derby, and he was, and you're never going to believe this, but he was an incredible centre back at that level, and he got, and so much so that he got a big or a fairly big move to Brighton in that time. But in League One, when we were playing Derby quite often, he looked really, really good. And then when he got a low move in the summer to you guys, I thought this is a really strong move. He got linked with Coventry as well, and that felt like a really good fit. And it does, when you've sort of seen him play as often as we did in the league below. I know it is a league below, but when he looked very, very good at that level, I was shocked to see how bad he was. And I think that probably playing 6 months or not playing for 6 months at Brighton probably didn't help that. But he hasn't obviously got off to the best time at Blackburn. He scored an own goal in his first game.
He played really well in the FA Cup game, and then he had a bit of a nightmare against.
I don't know what's happened
there.
Sometimes it gets in your head a little bit as well, doesn't it? But he never looked up to standard at Blues, and it was like we would have taken Ben Davis over him easily. So, Jack, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers,
just before you go, just want to say on behalf of all Blues fans, thank you very much for the content that you've been putting out, because it has been excellent. It's been really good.
Cheers, guys. I appreciate that.
And for people that, when we make a signing and they're going, I don't know about this guy, what's he like? We've not heard of him, never seen him play, and we can send them the video, and they, okay, all right, I know what to expect a little bit. So yeah, it's been really good. Thanks very much for them.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's really good.
I'd say thank you to I mean, as much as You know, it's nice to look at the numbers. It's also really nice to also look at the people that are sort of commenting as well. That's just as good. I think I've sort of stepped into this world because I wanted to have conversations with football fans, and it's been really, really nice to sort of see people genuinely enjoy it, and that's something that it makes it more enjoyable for me. It's weird if I'm sat here talking about a Spanish player with no one watching. It feels a lot. It feels a lot,
How do you think we feel?
yeah. I'll be honest, it feels a lot more comfortable knowing that people sort of in some ways find it entertaining and informative. So, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys as well. You've been really good in terms of sharing it as well. So it's been great. I've enjoyed the January. Just sign a few more players and then that could.
It might be us done now, but maybe in the summer.
Yeah,
Maybe in the
yeah,
summer.
exactly.
There might be one more, so just
I don't know how I feel about doing one on a backup left-sided centre back. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. That might be a struggle, maybe.
Before you go, what do you think of Spanish gingers?
Well, they haven't got to worry so much about the sun in England and specifically Birmingham. So in terms of health and safety, I think it's going to be fine.
You don't hate them.
No, I think. Well, he's just got me 10,000 views, guys. Okay, so I can't. Let's lay off that for a sec, shall we?
Yeah, Matthew, lay off.
Look, I just don't trust him. So it doesn't feel
He gives
right.
away. If he gives away, I wouldn't mind him giving away a penalty or something like that. I'd forgive him.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Will you be going on Saturday?
I will be. Yeah, I'm taking. I wasn't gonna go. Yeah, I've taken my girlfriend to a game. I've said to her, this isn't the one that we really. This is going to be a tough one. So yeah, although we are, like I said, we're going into it with a bit of confidence, but I am going to be there, and hopefully we don't embarrass us. That's my.
I'm in corporate hospitality on Saturday.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm flying over.
No, you're not. You're not meant to tell anyone this.
It's fine. It's fine. It's something to do with my dad's retirement from the gift. From
I think I said that
so.
if I think someone they were worried about. I will let you go. I need to go to bed. I saw someone say that if I jinxed that someone was sort of worried that I was going to jinx a transfer because I sort of put a video out before it was officially announced, and thankfully. I think it must have been the Vicente one that didn't get jinxed. I said that if he was hijacked, I'd be a mascot for the game on Saturday. I can now put this at rest for everybody. He has now officially been announced. I will be watching it from the stands, not walking onto the pitch hand in hand with.
We did share it. Your video once we knew it was sorted.
Yeah,
so
I noticed. I like that. Yeah. I like it. Just that you're covering your bag and throwing me under the bus.
Yeah. I know we were safe in the knowledge that it had been sorted, mate. So you were fine. So don't worry.
No, cheers, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks very much. And we might give you a shout and meet you for a drink if you're around on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna. Yeah, if you. Yeah, I've had a few Birmingham fans sort of say whether or not I'm going and stuff. So I'll be there. I think I'm not sure where.
You can come in with the away fans because
I might go the
basically
away and
us now,
that'll go down well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, cheers, Jack. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Cheers, guys. Take care. See you later.
Easy, mate. Bye.
So, Chewy, looking ahead, what would you do? Any team changes?
So, I guess, do you know what? I would be tempted to bring Boss back in, a right back, but I think he'll stick with the same back four. I think potentially we will see Solis.
But who pairs with him?
I think it will be Peck, won't it? There's no doubt about that. And the fact, again, just him being a Spanish speaker will help that also. I don't see too much change from last week, despite the fact it wasn't a great performance. I guess it depends how quickly Vicente settles in there, because he seems ideal for an away game. So, but is 2 training sessions enough for him?
Might be a few more than that.
I don't. 2 full training sessions probably, but I'd be reluctant to play Dukes. But But would I play Kyogo and Stansfield behind him potentially, or would you play Roberts in that 10? But I honestly don't know. I think we need to
Vicente's got
change.
the Vicente's in the benefit of being in form at the moment. He's been playing. He doesn't need a pre-season. So
There is that. So he's coming in fit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And match fit, match sharp. So I'd potentially start him and move Patrick Roberts over.
I mean, that's what I would like to see. Whether or not they would. The only thing I'm sure of is he'll change that centre midfield pairing. I think that will definitely happen.
I think Solis he's definitely due a start now.
I think I'm ready to see. I know Iwata scored on Saturday, but I think I'm ready to see a change there now. And Boss had a good African Cup of Nations, but I don't think that I think Davis just trusts Iwata too much, doesn't he? Solis definitely. The rest, I don't know. I just don't know. I think we could see Vicente start. Actually, the more I think about it, yeah.
I'm not sure whether. So there's comments that are coming in. I'm just going to drop this one up there because it's in keeping with what you've just said there. Iwata and Peck, it's time to get on the bench, lads. And then classic Chris from Ollie94. Classic Chris Davis. He'll leave a load of new signings on the bench and keep Iwata Peck thing over and over again.
Peck is getting an unfair amount of criticism. Like I don't really get it. A lot of the time,
I don't think there's criticism though, and there is some criticism, but I think it's fair to say that he is a favourite of Chris Davis.
Oh, absolutely, we've said that a few times already.
And Davis is going to find it hard to trust to drop him or Iwata because of that trust.
Very good player.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I think the lack of. The thing that's killed him in a few games this season is now Doyle is also a very good player in his own right, but they are quite different in the respect that Peck is quite mobile. He does a lot of legwork in that midfield sometimes when it should probably be shared, if that's the right way. So I think if you've got someone like Solis in there to help free him up a little bit, I think would see it. We've seen how good Peck can be. I think we'll probably more likely to see that again. I don't know if I'm becoming more and more reluctant now. Although Doyle's got fantastic set piece, free kick, corner. It's not the NFL. You can't just bring someone on to come and just bring them on to just deliver the ball into the box. We've got these other things to take into account, but it's got to be Solis and Peck for me. I think Solis will bring out the best in Peck again as well. So
I think I'd like to see Solis and Doyle, but I do think that it'll be Peck anyway, and I think that the back four will be pretty much as is.
I don't think that'll change again until Robinson is back fit. I think he'll come back in at some point for Neumann, assuming that we don't sign a left-sided centre-back.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go, or before we make a prediction?
Prediction? Oh, that's all that I've got. Well, actually, no, there is one more. We've got a comment from Stephen Hawkins, Football Boots 69. Which is
What a name.
I had to get it on there. I saw it pop up. Roberts dropped her in the 10.
He's one of our best players. I just wouldn't drop him. I would. If Vicente starts, I'd play him in the 10. Personally, he might need a rest. He might need a rest, to be fair. He's played a fair bit of football, but he has been, even when he's not been in the game loads, he does affect it, and he's still one of our better players.
Right then. So Dave has messaged us, and he's gone 2-0 Kyogo. until it
I'm
until
shocked.
it comes off. Until it
I
comes
mean,
off.
it did come off against Sheffield Wednesday, didn't it? So
It did.
yes,
Oh, I might have
because
actually.
we both
You-
got the results correct 2-0 because he went Kyogo and I went Dukes.
Talking of which, is the
Have you
table.
actually done it? Have you done it properly now? Is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And hold on, I've had
I
multiple.
haven't gone back over
Are
the
you-
last 20 months.
Oh, so you haven't done that yet.
I'm not going to. I've updated it to the point of the last few games, and because I'd
it's
missed them out, hadn't I? So
just
there
unfair.
you go.
I going on with what Jack said, I could quite easily see a draw, 1-1 or 2-2. But I'm going to try and try and be positive, and the new signings are going to add a little bit of impetus and vigor to the team. I'm going to say 2-1 Blues, and you know what? I'm going to do it again. Like, he needs to score. Stansfield is going to score on Saturday. I'm
Right.
just trying to like speak into existence again.
Now, I'm with you that I could see this being a draw. I could see this being a 1-1 or yeah. I couldn't see a 0-0. I can see goals, but I can't see. I can see a draw. But the thing that gets me is that I think if we'd have beat Stoke, we'd have had a little run going then, and we didn't. I think that was on the back of a draw and then a away win, and then you've got the home game against a Stoke team that are struggling with their squad. I could have seen us putting a little run together, and we go into this game on Saturday and we're more confident. And I think that draw on Saturday has just slowed that down a little bit, that bit of momentum. But
Still unbeaten though
still unbeaten,
in the last few
still
games.
undefeated. I'm gonna go really positive, not 4-0 positive. That's not coming back. I'm gonna go 3-1 Blues. And
Who's scoring?
I don't know. I might have to go. Roberts was the last one who gave me a point for scoring. I might have to go Roberts. I'm going to go Roberts. 3-1 Roberts. And with
Did
that,
I do? Did I do 2-1 Stansfield? Didn't
you've
I?
gone 2-1 Stano. 3-1 Roberts.
My head is absolutely saying this is a draw, mate. What you're doing, but I want to try and speak a victory and a Stano goal into existence.
I think that we need to see something from the team that we're constructing, that we're putting together. And I know it's not going to be an easy game, but yeah,
You are right, and actually we touched on this with Jack. So just on a slight tangent, is that the tools are there for the team to now. We've got a bit more physicality. We've got a bit more athleticism in the team. You know, there needs to be a significant uplift in performance and results come the end of the season, even if we don't make the playoffs, which I don't think we're going to make the playoffs, to be honest. But there needs to be a change, a positive change in the way we're playing and the results we're getting to carry momentum into next season.
I agree.
With the same coaching setup, I'll say.
Yeah. I
That
agree with
isn't
you.
me
I think
saying someone should go, but I think there needs to be, now we've got these players. They've been brought in this
You've
window,
gotta do
ready for next year.
Yeah. You've got the tools. Get the job going.
Yeah. Has to
Yep.
be signs. Has to be signs of improvement all
Yep.
over the pitch.
And it starts with a 3-1 win on Saturday. Right, I'm going back to go and paint some orcs. Have a safe journey over on Saturday. I'll try
Thank
and meet you. No, you're not go. You remember, you're not supposed to mention that you're going in there.
It's fine.
Home fans only, but
it'll be fine. I'll be on my best behaviour.
Sitting
Yes,
on
looking
your
forward to coming over. It's a flying visit. I think I'm only in England for like 26 hours, so it's over. Yeah, Dad's
Over and
grabbed me
out.
from grabbed me from the airport.
Happy retirement
game.
to your dad, by the way.
Do you know, he's been trying to retire for about 3 years, and he just kept like asking to stay, and so you can reduce your hours, and like here's more money for less hours, and he just kept doing it. I think finally now he's ready to step away, and I think he's still probably working until like March or something. But yeah, he's about time. He's had last year was quite a tough one for him. So yeah, it's about time he retired and want to enjoy the garden and whatever. So yeah, looking forward to catching up with him and the game and just the whole experience of what Oxford hospitality has to offer.
Enjoy. Have a great day. Right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for listening, for watching. And before we do go,
But is there a comment on what is it now?
absolutely not.
fuck.
Cart 244 up the Patriots, lads. Yeah. See you in a week. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you to everyone who likes, shares, comments on socials. It's really appreciated.
Always.
Have a safe journey to the game on Saturday. Enjoy the game. Chewy, have a safe journey over. Enjoy the game. And until next time, keep right on.
Keep right on.
Outro.